All right, and we're now live. There we go. That's actually looking how I wanted to. That's good. So I'm here today with Mofi and Paul.
Oh,
Hey, do you want to say hi?
yes. Hello, I'm Mofi. I've been here before, and so I'm here again. That is all.
And hey, this is Paul. I have also been here before, and I am also here again.
That's good. That's good. And hi, I'm JJ Asgar, and we've gone on a spirit quest. I think is the best way to describe it. Attempting to get Let's Encrypt, Cert-Manager, and DNS. What was it called again?
External DNS.
External DNS. Thank you. All kind of come together with a specific DNS provider called DNSimple, just because that's the one I had. But we wanted to kind of figure out a way to bundle it all up to be able to. So when we install anything onto an OpenShift, a Kubernetes cluster, we basically have SSL certs without having to worry about it, which is really nice. It's something that everyone needs to do eventually, and we went down to a handful of rabbit holes, and we finally figured out how to do it last week, which was really cool. We were very happy with where we were, and this week we are going to attempt to bundle it all up into a Helm chart and then provide it to the world so they can just have it. Right? I guess this is the best way to describe it. But there's some data points that we want to go over first from previous streams, and just before Mofi goes on his litany of data points, Paul, is there anything you want to jump in and say before we go any farther?
No, I don't think so. I think let's just get rolling.
Cool. All right,
so a couple of erratas that in the stream last week when I was first time brought here, and I gave people wrong information, which I apologize for. So at the time we said the Ingress controller on IBM Cloud Kubernetes runs on the master, which was wrong. I don't know where I heard that, but it just stuck to me. So it kind of didn't sit right. So I went back and asked around, and turns out it is running in the Kubernetes cluster itself in the kube system, but it's not named Ingress. It's named ALB something one with load balancer. So once we have a cluster up, and once you're sharing your screen, if you just do get deploy on kube system namespace, you would see that ALB, this thing, that is our Ingress. That's number one. And number two is when we were trying to do the Cert-Manager stuff, we saw that Cert-Manager has some predefined providers. That's about 8 or 9 of them. DNSimple wasn't one of them. So you couldn't just say, I want my provider to be DNSimple and this is my secret, give me something. So that wouldn't work on Cert-Manager. But if you have access to writing some code, and if you are willing to write some code, you can create something that Cert-Manager has provided a template for called webhooks. So you could create a webhook that Cert-Manager can use then to set up your DNS with some TXT records that they use to validate, that Cert-Manager uses to validate that you are the owner of the domain. So there was a bunch of examples out there for a bunch of different providers. And there was one for DNSimple, but wasn't completely done. So I went back and kind of recreated that. I can quickly show that once we're rolling with that eventually. But okay, so if you are using DNSimple and want to use Cert-Manager to automatically certify that you have the domain owner, you can use that webhook. I have a Helm chart and everything for it. So that's I have said my piece. That's yeah. So.
We all believe, Mofi, that you were trying to do the right thing. We all believe it. We just sometimes hit little bumps on the road. So turns out also when we were doing this a couple of weeks ago now, DNSimple found so one of the biggest problems we had with DNSimple was whenever we made a change to our DNS entries, it would take an hour because there's no way for us to overwrite it. Simone, who is the CTO of DNSimple, I believe, actually responded to the Twitter thread that we started on this, and I should have had this before coming up. Unfortunately, I don't, so I'm trying to find it right now. It turns out it's just an override that just the docs are out of date. So we can actually do that if we need to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought we tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
guess
trying
we'll
to
find out.
Yep. DN sim. I can't spell for the life of me. Jesus. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to be. Here we go. Here we go. So I will share my screen real quick.
Mhm.
If I can find Zoom. Where did Zoom go? Zoom. Share screen. And share. So this is Simone right here. Does support with this right here. And there's a constant in this Go file. So it does look like it is actually supported.
Well, constant. We're looking for a variable though, not a constant.
Oh,
Okay, so that setting looks like that's setting the default. And so I'm guessing it's going to use that constant if you haven't set it.
okay. So we need to find a way.
But you can also, are you out of the file already? I saw that where you could set TTL on the, so in the bottom, if you were to scroll down more, so right here on line 195 TTL on the resource record set, if you had something coming in, I think that's where they would set the TTL on line 203.
Yeah.
On the green.
Got it.
So if you were to pass something, they would set it on the record set object or struct, as Go people would say it.
Now, are you able to see what version, like what release that's in?
So that's a commit. Has it been even merged?
171. It looks like.
Well, it looks like it's in version 050 Alpha 2.
Back in February of 2018.
Yeah, so I think we're pretty safe in saying that is probably going to be in whatever version we're running, since it's 2 years old. So we'll try. I thought we did and it didn't work, but maybe we didn't. So should we bring up your console and have a look where we're at?
Well, let's talk about our agenda of the things we want to get done. Make sure that we have a nice list so we don't go completely off the rails. I have spun up multiple single node Kubernetes clusters so we can iterate on these as many times as we need to.
Cool.
So that's good. That makes us so we can just throw one away if we need to. So what we want to do is we want to build a Helm chart that installs. Well, we should take ours, right? We deploy the Helm chart that installs external DNS, Cert-Manager, and Let's Encrypt.
Well, no, there's nothing that needs to be installed for Let's Encrypt.
Good point. Now, what we should do...
And you want to do Hugin as like the default way to test that it's working, or do we want to do like a basic Nginx or something?
Yeah, let's do just basic Nginx. Let's take Hugin out as a complexity, because what the goal of this, right, is eventually to get that one chart that you can just fill in the little variables you need to, and then you do Helm deploy, and it just takes care of everything in the backend, right? Yeah. So we're stripping down everything we did last week, of all the meandering we did into a happy path, so you don't have to worry about it. So deploy Nginx web server. Oops. Then what else do we want? We want then publish the chart, and then write some docs. Yeah. Seems reasonable. Like, I feel like this is a pretty good kind of like, we've done all the hard work already. We've already verified it. We're removing part of the complexity of the app that we're doing. we're going to publish it because, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give it out to the world so we can then talk about it in a sense. And this won't be really nice. Make the DN simple portion overwritable.
Yep.
Right. Bull. Sure. So then we're not completely tied down to DN simple. We can use any of them, but then we still have the framework of using external DNS, Cert-Manager, all kind of put together. So we can be like, DN simple is our example, but if you want to use Dyn, I don't know, what is another DNS Google. You want to use
Google,
the Google provider. You just change this out with the Google blah, done, cool. And then we should write some docs around it to kind of make it happen. And then eventually, you know, we're being good citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think you've got it covered.
Perfect. Okay. So, and I also been told, CZ, can you ask for requests to see if you can type in my screen? There's been some people have told me that I should not type all the time because it is very frustrating to watch me type where you are trying to say something and like.
Well, you can't type in someone else's Zoom, can you?
Yeah, you can request control.
What?
Yeah.
Game changing right there. That's. Can you actually? I've never seen that happen in Zoom. I know WebEx you could.
Remote control.
You could,
yep.
Huh?
Let's request remote control over content. Request.
Approve. So type a couple commands to make sure it's not like my weird Dvorak or whatever.
Oh. Yeah, so a bunch of stuff doesn't work. Like already I did Control U and it didn't do anything. So basic typing works, but a lot of the more advanced stuff doesn't. And with the delay from hitting keys, I don't know if it's going to be any easier.
Okay. So maybe next time we can set up a little TMX session between us or something if we need to deal with that.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, just because one of the feedbacks I've gotten was that people were watching like, Jesus Christ, JJ, you type so slow, and you could just see CZ's or Paul's eyes get more and more frustrated watching JJ type.
That does sound plausible.
So hopefully next time we'll have a better one. We'll have a better way of doing this. But this is obviously very small, and I am so sorry for that. Let me make this bigger. Hopefully that's a little bit better for everybody. Okay, and then advo work.
I think you also want to replace the scene because your entire terminal window gets bigger as you make it bigger. So now it's like getting off your screen to the right.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, terminal will be doing that.
Yeah. What? There we go.
Okay.
So that should be better for everybody. IBM Cloud, KS, Cluster, LS, grep, K8S. Scar Webs. I can't type for the life of me already. Oh, well, I guess I lied. I planned on spinning up 1 through 7, but I guess we got 3 clusters right now. I can spin up some more if we want. I guess my bash script did not work how I expected it to. But if we need here, off stream, I'll do that later. Okay, so cluster fig. We'll go ahead and go into this guy.
Yeah, this is the one where we're already deployed into, right?
Yep. So according to Nibs, the IBM cluster comes with a Let's Encrypt Cert already.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to just deploy on the basic ingress that has external DNS already built in. So if you want HTTPS, you could do that. But if you, here we are trying to do on a custom domain that you have, you want to connect that to Kubernetes.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, the certificate is for it's like a wildcard cert for the DNS of the ingress. So it's that really long URL we were using originally, JJ, that we were trying to get away from.
Yeah, so if you could do a like IBM Cloud KS cluster get cluster name, it will show the DNS URL, sorry, ingress URL. So that one we have a wildcard cert built in for. So star.dat we have wildcard for.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So we don't want to use that. We want to use Asgard Labs specifically because
Exactly.
that URL is ridiculous and long.
Right. Now, where you might use that is if you were doing some sort of like global load balancing. A lot of the time you do global load balancing via DNS, and you could use that wildcard DNS as the DNS that's presented to the global load balancer.
Got it.
But because we're not doing anything quite that sophisticated, we definitely need to run our own.
So this is okay. So a lot of when I was trying to do the webhook, and a lot of the biggest struggle for me was a lot of the terminology was not super clear to me. And I was basically just Googling crazily, and a lot of the words are just basic English words. So this was also confusing. Can anyone explain here what CNAME record actually does?
So a CNAME record is a way of pointing one DNS record to another.
So
a record, you point from a host name to an IP address. For a CNAME record, you point a host name at another host name.
Right. So that's also like Nibs here also suggested that we could have done a CNAME record if our DNS, like with the ingress that already has it, let's encrypt certificate.
Right, but that let's encrypt, that certificate would be wrong for the CNAME address. So we would do a CNAME for, Bobby at bobby.ashgarlabs.io, and that would end up at the IBM Ingress address, but it would be trying to use that address's certificate against the bobby.ashgarlabs, and would then be an invalid cert.
Okay. So what is then the purpose of CNAME record then? We can just like send one DNS name to another, but like you still need to generate certificate for both.
Before we had to care about HTTPS, and we trusted people on the internet. CNAMEs were great.
Well, I would say CNAMEs are still great. You just have to understand what you need to do to use them.
So let's say
here's a perfect example of where CNAMEs work amazingly. When you do GitHub pages, right? You get your account.github.io/your repo is your GitHub pages URL. You can provide a CNAME of whatever domain into that. And so if I have like jj.ashgarlabs.io that I want to use, I tell it to CNAME to my ashgarlabs.github.io, and then in my Git repo, I have a CNAME file that tells it to use that, and GitHub will automatically wire that URL up as a CNAME, and will also, because it's hosting the eventual website, will also, I think, register a Let's Encrypt certificate for you. And that's all happening sort of under the hood on the GitHub infrastructure.
Really cool. Okay. Already learning so much. It's great.
There you go. That's why we spend the time on the stream just to talk about these things.
No, the A record was pretty clear, right? Like, because you have a name and you're just pointing to IP. The C name was always kind of like this thing where you're pointing one name to another name. I mean, it's in the name, C name, but it's still wasn't the most clear.
So let's talk about something called bind for a little while, shall we?
No, let's not.
Sorry, that was good. Anyway, okay. So we have our working instance here. Just to prove again, it works. If we go back to our charts, if we go back to our values.yaml, and then we go to this guy, HTTPS, yay! This is what we expect it to be, right?
Yeah.
HTTPS, so has not changed. Everything's up and running. I've changed all these passwords already, so it's not a big deal.
Cool.
Okay, so what is the next step? Like we have, do we create a brand new chart and then create a bunch of dependencies and just pulling all this stuff in first?
So I think there's two ways you can go about doing it. Is you could do that, or you could step up another layer of abstraction and use a tool like Helm file, which is specifically built for composing multiple Helm charts together.
Helm file. This is it?
Yeah, this is it.
Now, being that I'm being a little bit of a dick here, but I'm gonna go ahead and point it out.
Language, sir.
This is done by some homeboy.
Yeah.
Right. It's not in the actual Helm ecosystem or Helm namespace.
Correct.
It's also, I mean, Helm's rather large now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth using something like that, or do you think we should leave that abstraction alone and just do it with dependencies, because we would have to keep this? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, is it better not to have this abstraction? Because
so there's a few things Helm file gives you. One is it gives you a way to do like a declarative, semi-declarative. You can make it. Well, it is declarative by default. You can do some imperative things, like you can do some ordering of charts. So if you have something with CRDs and something that needs those CRDs, you can make sure they are installed in the right order. Think of it as Terraform for Helm charts. And so it kind of does the higher level orchestration. And it's also kind of like a template of Helm charts. But it also has really good tie-ins to do GitOps type deployment workflows, because it really encourages the behavior of like a code repo, which is where your charts are, and then an environment repo, which is where the environment specific data lives to actually deploy it.
So
it is pretty widely used. It isn't like, it's not something that just showed up. And it's very, very featureful.
Well, okay, let me ask a different question then. If I was going to go meet some random person at a Kubernetes conference and they're like, JJ, I really want to use the 3 things that we're putting together today, the chances of them understanding a Helm file over just basic Helm, which do you think would be a higher probability?
So I don't think Helm file adds that much complexity for what it gives you. I mean, obviously you can get very complex, but it sounds like you are leaning towards just using Helm. So maybe we can start by just using Helm, and we can always abstract our way up if we decide we want to.
I guess I'm not sold on using a Helm file, mainly because in my mind, I want to just do Helm install and it just does it for me, right?
Right. Except you have to spend a bunch of time handcrafting your values and stuff anyway, because what works for you is not going to work for anyone else because it has your credentials and stuff in it.
It's true. It's true.
Okay. But like, let's get started with Helm. And if we hit a point where we need something stronger, we can then switch across to Helm file.
Sounds good. Okay. So we have here, bring this up to the top. Here are our actual working YAML files from earlier. Just so we have them, that's where they are. If we want to, we can go, I have a Scratch directory here for today. So the agenda, why is that not? Okay, so what we can do is helm init
Helm create.
right? Helm
Yeah.
create.
Yep.
Create. What do we want to call this? How explicit do we need to be?
So here's the thing: you don't want a super long chart name because that's used in variables and other stuff as well. So you could call it.
Call it cert me. I don't know. I think it's just.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that works.
That's not bad.
See, yeah, like this is where we're bad at naming, but I'm coming up with gold today. This is it's great.
Okay, now you want it to be a fairly basic Nginx, right?
Yes.
Great. You're already done.
Excellent.
You're already done. So now what you need to do is figure out what we'll be installing and setting them up as dependencies. And then we need to then figure out good default values for them.
Yep. And that is in here, correct? The chart.yaml?
Yes. If you can spell it right.
You're asking too much.
JJ just wants to dance. I don't know why you were stopping.
There we go. Is that right?
No, it's Dan, D-E-N.
D-E-N, yeah, that's what I thought.
No.
Oh, no. Hey, JJ, why don't you look at the docs and copy and paste an example?
All right.
So, helm.sh.
I have one, remember?
Yeah, but like go to the docs and do it from there.
Okay.
Like, as another person would do.
Chart.
Just helm.sh.
Oh.
That'll do.
There we go.
All right. So copy and paste just the one section of that. Please paste the word dependencies. I don't want to watch you type it. Yeah. All right.
God damn it. There you go.
All right. Now, first thing I want you to do is tab that across one more time. Yeah. I'm not a fan of, because YAML doesn't mind, but I don't like it when you have your list at the same level as the key that the list is under. I find it harder to read. And so I always try to tab out this way. But that could just be me. Okay, but you're not going to depend on Nginx. You're going to depend on external DNS and on Cert-Manager, right? And then also maybe Nginx Ingress. But I feel like we should try Mofi's route. And is it Mofi or Mofi?
Mofi. Mofi,
all right. And use the inbuilt Ingress. And if we have issues, we can switch back.
Yeah, that's what I had the quickest success when I just used the inbuilt Ingress. I didn't have to mess around with any of the annotations on the Ingress itself. I saw yesterday, I actually rewatched your last stream because I asked JJ if it succeeded. He's like, yes. Then I tried to go to the demo URL. I'm like, it didn't work. Then I found out you guys have to change it twice to get to finally land on OMG. And that was the URL that finally stuck. So I basically rewatched the stream at 2 times speed to catch up to, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So we need, oh, God damn it. The easiest way to find the versions is to actually go out to Hub, right?
So I would say you should install the versions that we've been using.
Okay.
So I would do in a new terminal, I would do helm ls. And then I think you want to do --all -namespaces.
There we go.
Right. So that's going to give you the versions we want. So you can see.
Yep.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well, just look at the chart section and you'll be good.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Is it the Nginx also?
No, that was, I don't know where you got that from. And then we'll need to set the repository. We can do that later. And then the where is external DNS? Did we not use the Helm chart for that?
No, we couldn't because external DNS for DN Simple didn't have the flags required. So we actually ended up manually doing it.
Oh, yeah. But we should try and...
So that is another thing I was going to bring up, actually, like trying to package this in Helm charts where we have all these different DNS providers that I need to play with. I don't know how well that will work because I was looking through a couple of the examples of DN Simple, external DNS on different providers. They look fairly different if you want to manually do it and if you want to package them in one package like this.
Yeah, well, I think if we focus on doing the, I guess, DNS simple, external DNS will be a troublesome one, but I think that'll be an interesting experience to try and figure it out. So we can start with doing it for DN simple, and then we can look at our results and see what we think we would need to do differently for.
I actually probably would recommend actually starting from external DNS Helm chart and see why they couldn't just add DN Simple there.
Absolutely.
And what is different in DN Simple that way.
I can't remember what it was that didn't work for us.
They just didn't have the DN Simple documentation in the Helm hub thing. Okay. So we just directly looked at the repository to do DN Simple directly.
Yeah, okay, cool. And we can also just look at what we ended up deploying and figure out the difference.
Right. So from what we deployed, it did look like about 3 or 4 total YAML things. You have service account, you have a deployment, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And the service.
I think it was environment variables or args that we had to change to make it work. So let's go ahead and add. So JJ, maybe you go to hub.helm.sh and find a external DNS.
Hub.helm.sh.
And in the chat, there is a question about how we organize our front-end code. Give my answer, I don't, because I'm terrible at designing front ends. Every single front end I have done was some version of copied React from someone and trying to make it look okay, which was never a good idea for me or anyone. But I know some really great front end designers, and Nibs in the chat also dropped Carbon Design System. So Carbon Design System is internally built at IBM, but it has a very, I don't know, it's a pretty clean, it's much different than most of the Material UI stuff you see around. So it's a different look. Some people like it, some don't. It's a very opinionated look. So if that works for someone, definitely I would recommend looking into it. And front-end in general is such like an opinionated thing, right? If you like something, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's hard to give a right answer.
So what the hell is this?
So this is what's called a storybook. So you can just basically see all the different components, how they're used in code in the bottom and all that. So on the left, you have a bunch of different components. One I specifically like the most among all of them is the data table. So it's 4 up from where you are. So this table, and JJ, if you looked at the Kubernetes tool that I was working with, you saw this already. And if you actually, with selection of the sorting on the left, so on the left, under default, you have like other things with selection, with sorting, select one of them. So you can do a bunch of cool things like, I can just select, I can do actions on all of them together. So that's pretty cool. With toolbar is the one you're going to look at, the last one. So yeah, you can basically You can do a bunch of different things. You can search on the entire thing. You can search on top of. So this
So that might me seeing that app, thinking that you designed the whole thing. You're like, oh no, I just copy and pasted it from something else.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
again, I'm not going to take any credit for front-end design ever in my life, because I know for a fact it's going to come back to me hard, because people are going to think I know front-end when I don't. So I'm never going to try to take credit for anything front-end related in my life. That will never be a good idea for me. But again, this is so not here though. If you just look for Carbon Design System, their main website, they have a lot of design philosophy. So just look up Carbon Design Systems. Well, not this.
There needs to be HTTPS, because that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's fine. We can come back to that later. Okay. So we decided that we are going to go back to this guy.
Yeah, so let's deploy this guy. So let me see. You'll need the repository, the name, and the version. So why don't you flip back to the other one and just copy and paste those 3 lines, and you can just switch them out. Yeah.
Two, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Is that V standard?
It is not standard. Usually you don't. I would say that's not. I would say you don't want the V in Cert-Manager either. But we'll double check.
Okay.
So the repository is that top one. Yeah. Perfect.
And go back to Cert-Manager.
I think it's JetStack. Yeah, JetStack.
Oh, they reached 15, finally.
So I don't mind. Let's go ahead and just do the V15 alpha beta.
Okay.
What version did we have? Maybe we'll stick with the version.
14.2.
Maybe we should stick with that, unless there was something that it brings that we need.
Yeah, this is also beta anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that Kubernetes? Heyo.
All right. So let me see. External DNS and Cert-Manager. I think that's all we need for now. We might need to add something that lets us do raw Kubernetes resources as well. There's a few Helm charts to do raw stuff, but let's worry about that when we get to it.
Okay.
So now what we need to do in your code is...
Don't we need to do...
No, I don't know where that came from.
Oh, that's... Wait, what is that?
Is that the thing you put in here, Mofi?
Oh, yeah, that's me. That is I. That's the webhook I wrote. So it could deploy this that will do the webhook stuff for you to get DNS validation instead of HTTP validation.
Okay. And you said you did that as a Helm chart?
Yeah, that is the Helm chart.
Is it up on your Git repo somewhere?
So if you go to github.com/moficodes/Cert-Manager webhook DN simple, that's where it is. And yeah, if you just go to repositories, it's probably going to be the first thing, or one of the first things. Yep, that's the one. That's the code. And if you want to see the thing, if you just change the branch to GitHub pages, I have done a very dirty thing to get this.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So if you look at the index.yaml, and also if you look at the root repository on the master page, it actually says exactly how to install everything. So go to branch master and go to the root of it. So you're on a wrong file. The file doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, just okay. Master. Scroll down. Okay, there you go.
Perfect. Let's roll with this.
Yeah, well, that was like about the 2 or 3 hours. That was, but like it was time well spent, definitely. Once it worked, it was I don't think you want to call it Cert-Manager.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. DN simple.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well,
It's external DNS DN simple, right?
no. So this is the one for
Oh yeah.
Cert-Manager.
Sorry, it's the one for Cert-Manager.
So it's called Cert-Manager Webhook DN simple. I don't know if that name is that name, but
yeah.
Curl bash for Mofi directly.
it's
I think you
1.1.
can- 1.1, perfect.
Well, you had an older Helm repo update. You have to do Helm repo update. JJ, what are you doing?
Cert-Manager.
And I
Okay.
think so. That name.
Update the name to match.
Yeah, Cert-Manager Webhook DN simple.
Like that?
There we go. Excellent. Yes.
Perfect.
Uh-oh. Are we still streaming?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we are. Okay, cool. Oh, our little new follower thing isn't going. Man,
Nice.
I thought I moved that over.
Anyways, so save this off.
I did?
And then we need to set up the values file. And so we need to grab your values from, let me think about this.
Can we just grab most of them?
We don't need many of them actually anymore.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't mess with these yet. What you need to do is set up the values from the other projects. So there was, well, not this guy because it's for Hugen.
Okay.
You want the values that we used for what's the word? Cert-Manager. Yeah.
This one? Yep.
Well, we don't need to create a certificate. We're not going to use that. We need cluster issue. And we're going to change the solver to use a webhook solver.
Well, hang on, but these aren't values. We need to figure these out later. Did we just use all the default values?
I think we did.
Yeah, maybe do a Control R helm install and try and find the last time you installed it. It would have been helm install -n cert -manager, I believe. No. All right. History grep cert -manager. Do it dirty. Helm install. So the namespace. Yeah, the namespace was the only thing we had to set, and that was because of that weird webhook thing.
Yes.
So that might rear its head again because you're doing it as a dependency. It has to go into the same namespace as your app.
Right.
So we might need to figure out how to solve for that properly.
So in the Cert-Manager help chart, there was documentation how if you want to install it in any other namespace.
Oh, there was? Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, but like when you do that, everything underneath also needs to you need to do a little bit of changes everywhere. So
yeah. So maybe just do a search for Helm. 14.2, I think we did.
14.2.
I think you want to just go to the Cert-Manager docs instead of in the Helm docs.
14.2.
Well, I was going to say just do a search for namespace in the chart and just see if it has anything. Control F.
This one?
Well, you were literally at the right spot.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just looking for the word namespace here.
Yeah.
Yeah, install Cert. Okay.
Customer resource namespace. This is really annoying how they cut that off.
Yeah. Cluster resource.
That's all.
Service monitor.
No, that's
That's
a
it.
Prometheus thing. That's it.
That's it.
All right, we'll go to the Cert-Manager docs then, and we'll see what it says there.
Okay.
Learn more.
Mofi, do you remember where in the docs it had it?
You know what? Let me just also look it on the side so that we can double the manpower looking at this.
You don't watch me click around trying to learn how to do a Control F.
I mean, as much as I love that, I also like finding things. So
It'll be under installation, JJ, because
yeah,
it's where you're installing it. Kubernetes. And just now, let's see, namespace. Wait, go back. I think it said something. By default, will be if possible, although you need to make modification to the deployment manifest.
yeah, that's where I saw this. Same place.
But that's not. That's not actually telling you where you need to set
right.
it.
Cert-Manager's
Right.
default different namespace,
So-
although you need to make modification to the deployment manifests. So I think the issue was in somewhere there was a flag that was telling it to run the webhook URL like a fixed URL.
Yep.
Right. That is the issue we're going to face again if we don't do that. Although if we do the DNS way, we don't really have to mess with the web like that one to validate our authenticity anymore.
Okay.
So I don't think that in that case it will be a problem anymore.
So you think we'll be okay?
We should be if we're because DNS one is just running the thing so that it can update the text record, right? So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, again, but also that is tying us even closer to DN Simple because that webhook only works for DN Simple. There are a bunch of other webhooks for other things though, but
right. Yeah, I feel like we should try and make it work with the general HTTP.
Yeah. That way we don't have to worry about
it's more applicable, and then we can come back and put some like Boolean flags around.
Yeah.
Doing it another way. So JJ, keep word searching down and see if it tells us.
So where does VMware fit into this thing? Nothing at all? Okay.
What? You run Kubernetes on VMware? What are you doing?
Okay, create namespace, helm install, verifying the install. Yeah, we're looking for where it's telling us to modify it. Namespace.
Those are test resources. That's it.
And I hate to say this, we actually might have to look at the source of the Helm chart itself to see what they're doing there.
Yeah. All right. So it did say go to deploy.
Manifests.
Probably. No, that's for straight Kubernetes, I think.
Oh yeah.
Cert-Manager.
So yeah. And then templates. Yeah, you want templates, and then deployment.yaml.
Jesus Christ.
And then do a word search for cert-manager. That'll probably return a bunch of stuff.
No, I don't want to bookmark this. Go away.
Do a dot because it's a URL, right? What's the FQDN for? Is it dot cluster dot my? You know when you do a FQDN.
Yeah.
It's dot SVC. Nope. Okay. Oh, hang on. There we go. I bet you that's it right there. Cluster resource namespace, pod namespace. No. Cluster resource. Do a word search for namespace. We'll do it the other way. Okay, next. Next through those ones. Next through those two.
That's it.
Okay, how about we divide and conquer on this? JJ, you and I can keep going forward. Mofi, do you want to try and hunt down?
Yeah, that's what I was actually doing on the side already.
And then hit us up when you've found it. So JJ, back in your dependencies, under that last one, add, no, it's the same. It's not a new dependency. It's a conditional. So type in conditional, : and then go to the docs and let's make sure we do it right. No, you want the dependency conditional. Yeah. Just word search for, oh, there it is. There are conditions, SumChart.enabled. Okay, so switch back.
It's condition, not conditional.
Yeah. And then do DNS simple.enabled.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing now.
Yeah. And then save that off.
Did.
And then go to your values file.
In this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's just, at the very top, just so we know where it is, let's add 3 new keys. One for Cert-Manager, so Cert, capital M for manager. Another one for, oh, hang on. It's got to be, hang on, let me think about it for a sec. It's got to be the actual cert name, so Cert-Manager. That's painful. And then another one for external -DNS. And then another one for DN simple. Under DN simple, do enabled : false. Cool. Now for, yeah, actually we should do that and set the same condition on the other two as well.
I'm not just a pretty face. I have ideas. I could change things. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so now let us move on. So we didn't have anything custom for Cert-Manager before, but we do need to figure out external DNS. So I'm just trying to remember, how did we deploy it last time? Did we just have a big YAML we went from?
Yeah, maybe.
Because if we didn't install it with Helm, we must have. What are you looking at?
Well, I was looking to see the YAML files we had.
Yeah, no, it'll be alongside the, yeah, here. Okay, so cat external DNS. Let's have a look at that. I feel like that's probably just our big fat set of.
Yeah, it was just this. That was it. That was all we added.
And the domain filter.
Yes, good call.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look at the DN Simple charts docs, and we need to look for where we can set environment variables. It's probably extra envs, if I remember correctly.
It is external.
If you go back to the hub page, you can find it there. And that way you make sure you get it for the right version. Yeah. And then just scroll down. So provider was the first thing I just saw.
Sorry. All right.
Okay. Scroll down a little bit.
Friday, there we go.
Yeah, DNS provider. So that's by default to AWS.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably need to actually look at the source and see what other options we have. So if you go to,
Docs.
No, we need to find the deployment YAML.
That's what we looked at the docs last time. Okay.
No, that was for the other one. So go back to, because we need to go to the Bitnami Helm chart to look at it there. Should be Docker, Bitnami.
This one?
No, that's not quite it, because that's the Docker file. Do they not have a link to their repo?
Which repo are you looking for?
Just the Bitnami. So if you go to
you want to look at you want to look at the chart itself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on.
So you go to GitHub/Bitnami and you'll find it under there. I'm
gonna drop it on the, well, that's where all the charts there, all of their charts live.
Where'd you send it?
Oh,
there you go.
Just share it with everyone. I just want to, I don't know. So you go to Bitnami and they have all of them.
Yeah.
External DNS is like right there.
Duka Wiki. Templates.
So go to values. Hang on. Yeah, go to values first. And just double check that so what was the providers was you were looking for?
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Do any of you remember what issue we were getting when we used a different namespace for it? Like what was the error message we were getting?
It just couldn't find it because it was trying to look at there's a webhook and it was trying to access the webhook using the FQDN.
Right.
The FQDN had the namespace in it.
It was a Go error too, if I remember correctly. It was like a stack trace. It was like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
By the way, do you notice how DN Simple is not in there?
I do notice how DN Simple isn't in there. So let's have a look at the actual template. So I assume it'll be the deployment template. And then do a search for provider. Okay, so we can put any value in there.
Isn't that what we did here?
Yeah. So we can probably put, but I'm just trying to see if there's anywhere where it's going to matter. So scroll down because you can see it's looking at provider there and there. I bet you if we set provider to DN Simple, we'll be heading in the right direction. So in your values file, let's edit that and set DN Simple.
So take what we saw.
So it's under the DN Simple key. So tab in, and it was provider : DN Simple.
Provider.
Just space DN Simple.
Okay.
Yep. And then we also had another thing we had set in our values, which was the
Oh, the key, the filter key.
The filter, yeah.
Oops.
So we can probably just find that in the Helm chart because that's bound to be a common setting. So go back to the values file. And then do a search for filter. No, domain.
Domain filter? No, it's info
That's it.
blocks.
No, it's info blocks, yeah.
Domain filters.
There we go. Domain filters.
Like that?
Yeah.
And we want to make this up top, right?
No, it's so when you do a dependency, anything you pass to that dependency goes under that dependency's key.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's almost, for lack of a better term, namespace.
And they should actually be under the external, no, the external DNS, not DNS simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we only have one, so
Yeah. But it's still a list.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So you can.
Oh, because of the square brackets.
Yeah.
And don't we need to put the key in there also?
That's what we need to figure out. Didn't you have a prefix in there, or was that it?
Pretty sure it was that.
Okay, that was it then. All right, cool. So what else do you have in your external DNS?
Sorry, give me 2 seconds. My insulin pump is angry. Actually, come to think of it, with that beeping noise, it's also telling me I need to take my blood sugar. It has been an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay.
So let's take a 5-minute break. We're already making huge progress, which is great. And hi, Terry. Thank you for joining us and saying something in the chat. We're going to break for about 5 minutes just because, old man legs got to move around. And then we'll be right back and we'll continue on. So see you in a few minutes. So we're back, and yes, we're going to be playing with some tokens and all. But y'all want to say hi? Just say hello again.
Hello again.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yay!
Made it back the 5 minutes of not being here. So
exactly. Hey, man, you never know. You never know who sticks around. You
Exactly. Also, I think I was searching through external DNS Cert-Manager's docs, not docs, their source code and their issues to look for if anyone else has seen this namespace changing issue. Found nothing. So either no one else even thought of not running it in Cert-Manager namespace, or they just ran it, it worked. So my guess would be we just change all the namespace on the values to the new namespace, or what we have decided to do instead is deploy everything under Cert-Manager namespace anyway. So I think just to like not even have to worry about that issue altogether. So that's one progress / improvement, moving the needle, whatever you want to call it, we have done.
Well, in the very enterprisey way, we'll just deal with it later.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So I think we're nearly there. We need to make sure sources are correct. So if you go back to your docs for the chart and search for sources. Here we go. So it defaults to service and ingress. So we are good.
Okay.
And then you want to look for, just look for extra env.
Extra env.
And there we go. So you want to just grab his example with the name. Yeah. Just the top two. Yeah. And then paste that in.
This would be...
and so DNS simple OAuth. And then your key. Obviously, you'll change this key after the stream.
I've actually deleted it. I have to create a new one.
Oh.
Okay, for now, we'll just keep this here as a placeholder. We can probably...
Yeah, why don't you set like change me in... No, don't put that in. Put something really obvious like change me or something like that. Yep. So I think that's all we need for external DNS. And then under Cert-Manager, I think that's all we need for Cert-Manager, right?
It feels right.
So now, the other thing I would suggest we do is we add a... let me think about this for a second. Yeah, here's what we should do. Under DNS simple, create a new key called Nginx. No, as in a new key, like new root key. And then enabled and set that to true. And then go to where your templates are. And we're going to key all those values, those templates off Nginx. So if you, at the start of this, create a new line, do a double open curly brace, if nginx.enabled, close, and then at the very end, put an end in there.
Dash end, right?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It depends if you want to fight or care about extra carriage returns.
Okay.
Which we don't really care because we're going to end up with blank files if it's disabled. So save that.
Do we need to change these ports here? Because I'm putting in port 80.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's just a dummy Nginx to prove out that it's working.
But shouldn't it be 443?
No. because Nginx is serving up regular HTTP. It's the ingress that's going to be turning to HTTP.
Oh, good point. Good point. Okay.
So you'll also want to do that for whatever else is in there. There's a ingress service account. Perfect.
Ingress and service.
Mm-hmm. And service account, one last one.
What does the other dash mean?
It's just whether or not it should care about carriage returns before or after.
Okay.
So by doing that end like that at the end, basically that there won't be an extra line at the end of the file. Whereas the way you've got it, there will be. But again, who cares?
Okay.
We might need to also do it to the test template as well. So it's under tests above. Yeah. And then I think for completion's sakes, also in notes.txt.
Okay.
All right. Save that off.
Good.
And then just run helm template dot. Okay, so do a helm dependency update.
That looks good.
Marvelous. Now do a helm template dot. Interesting.
So test connection.yaml. That file, there was a parse error.
We are, my bad. It should be if dot values dot nginx.
All of them?
Yeah. So I fix it in one and I can just copy and paste it. Capital V. And is it a dot?
Dot values. It's going to be dot values.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Helm template is your friend for quickly finding out issues like this. Did you do notes?
I thought I did.
I thought you skipped over that. Nope.
You thought wrong, sir.
That's the story of my life.
That's why you got us here, to keep you honest. I was gonna tell you could just do Shift R, but then I realized you're Emacs, not Vim, because you like pain and suffering. All right. If you think you got them all, just do helm template dot and see if it works this time. What is it? How do you keep creating symlinks in places?
It's a safety mechanism for Emacs.
Okay.
It's basically telling you haven't saved something.
Right.
You know what? In VS Code, I could have just done a search to the entire folder and just replaced everything.
You could do that in Emacs as well. It's just like if we had Matt Ray on here, he would have done that with 3 clicks. Like he wouldn't have even had to type anything.
It's true.
He would have just kicked his foot pedal and it would have worked.
So true. Hey, I did start playing with Vim Adventures again. I can't get past the first level, unfortunately. But anyway, okay. So Helm template worked.
Right. So now, what do we want to do next? Are we good to deploy it? Is there anything else we need to do? I mean, we'll deploy it, but it's not going to work.
Okay, let's look at the Helm template, like just if it prints, but what does it print? You want to look at it first?
Well, it's going to be a pretty lengthy document.
Yes, it has service accounts and all that jazz. I don't know if you need all that.
Right. Well, it's going to have several service accounts. It's
right,
have
for multiple different
Nginx.
helms.
Yeah, which is fine. Right. I'm just saying, like, if we do a Helm template dot, we won't be able to read it because there'll be too much garbage in there.
Right.
So things we know for sure we're missing is we don't have a cluster issuer, and so we need to figure out how to do that. But we can, first time around, we can just do that manually and make sure things are working, and then we'll figure out how to add.
I mean, the cluster issuer we could add on our Helm chart because we need that from our Helm chart, right? So
we could, yes. Yeah.
Because right now you're deploying what? A deployment, a service. We could just add a cluster issuer there.
Yeah. So JJ, why don't you copy your cluster issuer in from
Helmify it
where you had it into the templates directory.
All right.
He had an L for some reason there. I don't know.
All right, now open up that and also open up your deployment because we need to add the a few things in there.
And shouldn't we variabilize all this stuff too?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
But we'll need to fix the metadata and labels.
On this side? No. This side?
Yeah, no. So basically we need to make the cluster issuer have similar metadata and labels. So basically its name should be that, copy that whole block across. And then kill those two lines. And then after name, on the name line, finish that with dash. No, don't do anything there. After the close.
Oh, after the close. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang
on. Do dash
cluster issuer?
Staging.
Staging.
Yeah. Because we already know it's a cluster issuer because that's the type.
Got it.
Yeah. And then the labels, I think will still be okay. And then do the same for the second one, except we'll call that
production.
Prod. Yeah.
Do we, instead of doing that, do we want to just make it a variable on the server and the email so that we can send the right server? And have that from the values default to staging, and we just send the server to the prod when you actually want to deploy it? Because I don't see the purpose of deploying two different cluster issuers.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it that way. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I was asking someone a question in the chat. So we're going to wrap this in an if-then statement?
Yeah, so just kill the first cluster issuer, and we'll just work off the prod one, and we can always add, as Mofi said, a variable.
An if-then around it?
We don't need an if-then here.
Don't worry about any of that.
So we're just basically saying all the variables like server, email, we're going to make them like dot values dot something dot server.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why don't you take from Acme down, take that whole thing, Yeah. And then save that and go to your values file. And then create a new key, a new like root key called cluster issuer, capital I, colon, and then, yep. Just unindent the Acme by 2.
Perfect.
Yep. And then go back to your spec and just kill all of that, everything under spec. Yeah, and now do double curly brace open, and then do dot capital V dot cluster issuer dot Acme.
Wait, if you do that Acme, wouldn't it just
Oh, sorry,
just
not yeah, just yeah. Hang on, let me think about this. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then you want to do before you close it, you want to do a pipe, and then do 2TO capital Y for YAML, and then do another pipe and do indent 2. And then
I think you want to kill the first 2 spaces you have in front.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. And so that'll take the object that's being made out of the cluster issuer, it'll turn it into YAML, and it will indent it by 2. So you'll end up with that Acme line as it is underneath spec. And that way, anyone that wants to change any of those things, they can change any of those things. And if they need to use the DNS solver, because that's a list, they'd just replace that whole thing anyway. So this actually will put us in a really good spot.
Do we want to, just for future help's sake, do we want to put the staging server in here also as like a comment, or default it to staging and say change this to remove staging when you want to do production?
We could. I think it's not.
Or is that just being overly helpful?
I would leave it for now, because it may end up being, we might want to turn this into a list or something, and actually like loop through it, and that way people can have multiple cluster issuers. Because you might also want to have like a self-signed issuer and some other things. And so there is actually good reasons to have multiple cluster issuers.
Okay.
And we also even might want to have just a regular issuer at some point. So I think as it is right now, will be fine as a like 0.1 edition.
Cool.
So we can save this off. Obviously, the thing we ship, we wouldn't use your email address, but I think for now it's fine to be in there.
Well, we're testing it, right?
Yeah, let's error validation chart. Oh, you're in the templates directory. Okay. I think we might have everything we need. We've got the external DNS, we've got Cert-Manager, we've got a cluster issuer. You've got your change me, I'm fake. So what you should do, JJ, is in another screen, create that OAuth key.
Already got it.
And set it as an environment variable, and that way you never have to show it.
Okay. Oh, is there a way for me to put environment variables in this thing?
I think so. Grab your Helm docs and search for environment variable, or maybe even just in Google, just type Helm use environment variable in template. Oh, there you go.
No, that's an issue. So let's.
Yeah, that's.
Nope.
Yeah, that's not helping. Go back. So that issue is asking for support. So maybe that
it's
has
also in
resolution.
2016. So
Yeah,
that's
but
basic 100 years in cloud native time.
Mm-hmm. But it should tell us.
Feature request.
Okay. Use environment variables and templates.
It's closed.
Huh. So it doesn't look like they ever had a
Consensus.
I mean, we can. All right. Anyway, just let's not worry about it for now.
You
Let's
know what? I'll just
paste it in there.
Yep.
And we can you can change it after the stream.
Not a problem. There you go.
All right. Save that off and let's install it. You connected to the new cluster, right?
I did. Helm install.
Yeah.
Dot?
Dash N or dash N namespace.
Dash N.
Cert.
So do you have a Cert-Manager namespace there?
No, because this is the new cluster.
Right. You probably want to create it.
Oh, yes. Helm 3. Yes, you do want to create it.
Okay. New namespace.
No, KNS create.
I'm stuck in OpenShift world. Yeah.
kubectl create and namespace.
Yeah, namespace name.
Cert-Manager.
Yeah, I'm stuck in OpenShift world. Helm install -n Cert-Manager dot.
And then no, you need to give it a name. So you call it cert-me.
And dot.
And then dot. Yep.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. If your computer starts smoking, run out of the room.
Okay. So here's our first problem.
CRDs are not installed yet.
Yeah. So go to the Cert-Manager and
you have to install the CRD yourself first.
Well, it depends.
No, even if you do it in Helm, if you do it in Helm specifically, you have to install the CRD first before you run the Helm chart. If you do like their single installation, that does it all together.
Right. So what I want to check is with Helm 3, if there's a CRD directory, Helm is supposed to attempt to install the CRDs before it does anything. So I want to have a look at the Helm chart for Cert-Manager and see if it has that. Deploy chart. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. So there is no CRDs in here. So that's pretty annoying because there's no way to tell Helm to do it. So basically what you'll want to do is like the first time you deploy it, you'll need to manually run kubectl apply and those CRDs. So if you go back to deploy and CRDs, and it should tell you.
Well, Cert-Manager has the documentation pretty. If you the tab to the left, you just go to that tab. Not here, like up top in Chrome. Yeah. So the first thing you got to do is scroll down a little bit. Not here. Not this one. This is the full thing. Installing with Helm. Go to
JJ. The alligator eats the bigger number. JJ. The alligator eats. Wait.
No, scroll down to Helm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Now you have to run this. Yeah.
Right. So stick this in your README so you remember that you had to do it. Yeah. And then just run that. and then run helm ls. Oh, you need to be, you still got
Yes, right?
You've still got Kubernetes and stuff installed? Remember
I think so.
last week?
Yeah.
So do Kubernetes and then, space Cert-Manager.
Oh, yeah.
I now do a helm ls. Okay, cool. Helm install. I just wanted to make sure it hadn't done like a half broken install before I realized.
And we didn't have to be in the Kubernetes namespace to do this for the CRDs, correct?
Yeah, CRDs are cluster wide.
Okay.
So you can rerun that helm install.
I think helm runs that template first before it doesn't install. So if it fails the template.
Yeah.
And since we added the cluster issue, we didn't really do a helm template dot to see.
That seemed way too fast.
Well, no, because remember, all it does is passes the manifest on, like kubectl, right? It doesn't wait for it to actually be done.
It just says you do it.
For kubectl get all.
Things are happening.
All right. So let's just give it a minute and then just do a kubectl get pods. And we'll just wait until everything says one of one up.
Yeah, please do that.
Well, you don't want to watch the tail of the horrible output?
No.
Oh yeah, I hate the kubectl.
I think we also griped about it like last week as well, right? Like the Kubernetes.
So we're all up.
Yep.
So now we don't have an ingress yet. We don't have certificates yet.
So do we have a cluster issuer?
We do. Yeah, check if we have a cluster issuer.
No dash.
Damn it.
Eek.
That's gross.
What? Wait, what? Okay. I'm confused.
Oh, Cert-Manager.
We didn't ask for a certificate. Why is it?
I think because the cluster issuer is set to HTTP, it's trying to check against that. Well, that's fun.
So I don't actually know what's going on here. Can you, like, obviously it's broken. That's
right.
Error from server. But so how did you immediately say that it's asking for that?
So you got an X509 certificate signed by an unknown authority, but it's a GET request for the cluster issuer itself. Why is it returning an error now? Can you do a K describe on the cluster issuer? But we didn't even get a list of it. What the hell?
Did we break the certs?
So I would say what's happening is part of the CRD is telling Kubernetes itself to hit that webhook. And so Kubernetes itself is then getting that error. Well, this is fun. Oh, I wonder.
Hey, Mofi, can you go into the cloud in the workshop account and look at KS1 through the GUI and see if the certs are broken through the GUI?
Is it?
No, but these are all internal certs that Cert-Manager is creating.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because you can see, so if you look at the post URL, so that is looking at a service called Cert-Manager webhook in the Cert-Manager namespace, right? And so I'm guessing Cert-Manager gives itself a self-signed cert for that, and for some reason it's not working. But what I just realized is we did install a slightly older version of Cert-Manager, and we probably just pulled down the latest CRDs. So I think if we do a helm delete and clean up everything we just installed.
So I think I found someone else having the same issue. So this has to do with, as you said, with the Helm stuff. There's some extra space we have, and I'm just reading through it. So
we need to update the chart to the newest version.
did we on the thing we downloaded the CRDs from, was it version 14 or 15?
14.
So this is 14.
Okay.
Our Helm chart is also 14.
Yeah, I think we might be 14.2 instead of 14.3, but that should be fine.
Ugh.
This isn't no HashiCorp Vault where a minor release changes
hang on.
everything.
What version of Kubernetes are you using?
116, I think.
Should be.
Let's just double check.
It's K version.
Fuck me, man.
Language. All right, 116. So the reason I asked was that doc right at the bottom. It was talking about the conversion webhook.
Mm-hmm.
JJ, go back to the doc.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. See note if you're using right at the bottom.
Okay.
Version.
So I have some updated news. If we use the Helm chart version 15 alpha 0, we can actually set install CRDs equals true, and it would install the CRDs for us anyway.
Maybe.
No, that's one of someone on the issue. Someone reported back this, so it looks like a maintainer of the project itself. So I don't know if they will lie to us.
Well, let's go ahead and do that anyway. So did we delete the install?
I believe I did.
Well, do a helm ls.
Yes.
All right, cool. So go to your chart.yaml and install, is it 0.15 0 beta 1?
Niner
alpha 0.
76.
So 0.15 alpha 0.
Oh, I thought that was a beta.
But like there is more a version, so you can use the latest, I guess. Just use the latest.
15.0 beta 0.
I don't know what is the latest one. Hold on. Hub.helm.
Oh, I thought you had it up. Sorry.
Well, I think you have it up, JJ.
Do I?
Yeah, you've got Helm Hub. And your other browser?
No.
Oh, you did have it up. All right. Hub.helm.
Okay, so it's beta 0. Yeah, so 15-beta.0.
.0.
Mm-hmm.
That's a horrible naming convention.
And then, but go to the docs, JJ, and have a look. And I just want to see what it says about CRDs anyway. So hub.helm.sh.
This one?
Hub.helm.sh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so install CRDs to do it.
But there is some differences between how Helm 2 and Helm 3 handles that. And so I just want to make sure that we're looking at the right spot. Installing the chart. For installing, so even here it says.
Yeah, but if you keep scrolling down in the configuration, it's 7th from the top.
If using true, we install the chart Helm chart. If enabled, when uninstalling CRD resources will be deleted. Yeah, but I think that uses the Helm CRD hooks, which were removed for Helm 3.
Ah, okay.
So I think we'll probably still face the same problem. But they do say, scroll back up, JJ. Because they did mention the commands to run right at the top. Yeah, so is that the same? Scroll across
Well, this is using 15 beta 0 here.
Yeah, so grab that line and copy it.
Did you get rid of the other CRDs first?
We'll do that before we run this. And then jump out from the command line. And so basically you want to find the last kubectl apply -- validate you ran and turn that into kubectl delete.
Yep.
Yep.
You don't have to validate anymore when you're deleting.
And then run the one that we just pulled.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Jeez.
Well, not found.
Seriously?
All right. We'll go to that URL and let's figure out what's going on. All right. So drop back to. Is it under releases? So just drop back to releases. So have they?
Okay, scroll down. Their version names get all confused.
Well, they don't actually have a beta release.
Oh, they
They're
don't.
They're all at alphas.
Why would the document it? Oh my god.
But that's fine. Let's go to the latest 15 one and
Alpha 3 yesterday.
Yeah, click on that one, or click on assets either way, and scroll down and look for the Cert-Manager CRDs. Yeah.
Yep.
Copy that.
So do we change now this?
Just get copy that URL. We need that URL. No, the CRDs one.
That one.
Yeah.
Copy link.
And then replace it in that README, or just replace it here and then make sure it works and then do it. So just that whole URL, just replace that.
Yep. And there we go.
All right.
This might be the first case where document updated even before actual code updates.
Right.
So, I mean, in some bittersweet way, this is actually progress for the industry. where we're getting documents updated before.
Okay.
So.
Now
go back to the chart, right?
Yeah, we should be.
We have to go to Alpha 3 now.
Yeah, I reckon we should, assuming that we do have a chart for Alpha 3.
Alpha 3.
I think they did Alpha 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that released yesterday, and the beta 0 released today.
Yeah.
Updated the dependencies. Good.
All right.
Install Cert-Me. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
All right. Okay, get pods. Even watch it.
Okay. Just the webhook takes the longest, usually about 30 seconds-ish.
All right. So save that off.
Now let's look at if we got the cluster issuer now. Okay, just do a kget cluster issuer.
Okay, that's interesting. Now saying the service Cert-Manager webhook not found. So kubectl get service.
Looks there to me.
We're having the same issue.
No, the name's different.
Yeah. So here's what you can do. I bet this is probably related. So usually there's a full name override and name override that you can set in values.
Hang on, before I do that, shouldn't I delete everything first? So we're back to 0.
Sure.
Okay. So then go back over here. Oops, not here. Here. For override, name override.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is they don't always actually put it in the docs that they have it. So you might need to actually look at the Helm chart itself. Yeah. And go to values, because I think it's actually a Helm setting. Go up to, you're moving too fast for me, as usual. So go back right up to the top. And go back to the Cert-Manager directory. So up one directory. And then go to templates. And then there should be a helpers.tpl. And there should be a full name. Yeah. So you can see there's two things, name override and full name override. And so you want to set both of those to be just Cert-Manager.
Okay.
Right. And so this will be in your values.yaml under the Cert-Manager key. So name, capital O override. Yeah, copy, that's probably easiest. Cert-Manager. And then do the same for full name override. So, and then just to be paranoid, do the same pair under external DNS. Yeah, except obviously call it external DNS. And you also, oh, no, never mind. Yeah.
Better?
Yes. So save that off. And then reinstall. Okay, those names look better, right?
Much better.
So now do a kget cluster issuer. So this is one of the things. This is one of the things I like about Helm file is you actually specify a namespace for each chart you're deploying and all those other things, and so you avoid a lot of these issues.
But if it was abstracted it all away, we would have learned something.
Well, I mean, that's one way to look at it. So now we have what we think is a working thing.
Why is the ready? It's not ready, but what is the issue with that?
Good question.
Can you do a describe on it?
Yeah.
No, not logs, just, well, yeah.
And actually name it. Yeah.
You have to
say production.
Yeah. You have to say
cluster issuer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
No, it says the account's registered. It might maybe do a get on it again. It might be.
Okay.
We're just impatient.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, when I work faster than the computers, I start to worry.
We have been doing this for one whole fortnight, so I think little impatient is justified.
So now, JJ, to actually wire it up, we need the ingress settings for Nginx. So if you go to your my values file, it's actually the my values file from Hugen.
Oh, okay.
So instead of like messing with all the flags, I would recommend maybe, hold on, cd document.
This one?
Yeah, so grab those annotations and everything below ingress. Yep.
Put this in values?
Yes, under there's already an ingress section in this values, so find that, and I think you just replace it. Yeah. Now, obviously, you'll want a different URL. So let's call this test dot. Was this name it for the cluster? Was it K1S?
Yep.
Yeah. And then change it in secret name. Just test dash K1S. And then fix it in hosts. Right.
Okay.
And then let me see. Cluster issuer. What was the name of our cluster issuer? Because I think it has to be, was it Let's Encrypt?
Cert-Me production?
Yeah.
And other than that, you actually don't need any of the other ones because we're still using the default ingress. So you get rid of the first line there in the annotations.
Yep.
Third line, fourth line, and then fifth line. You only need the, yeah.
Perfect.
You also don't need the TLS Acme. You're using the.
Yeah, I think that's I think you can get rid of that as well.
Yeah.
Save this off.
Mm-hmm.
And then helm upgrade. Yep.
Hey.
All right. Now do a kget ingress.
It's looking good.
Now you can do a kget certificate. Certificate creates a certificate request, that creates the order, that creates the challenge.
Yeah. So I think, like, if it's working, we should just need to wait. I wouldn't just wait for it though, because we don't even know if it's working. So why don't you do a describe of that certificate and see if it says anything interesting in status. You need to tell it it's a certificate.
Oh, God damn it, really?
It's okay, JJ. We know you've only been using Kubernetes for 3 years, so we don't expect you to know these things.
Okay, now you have to chase down and look at certificate request.
Yeah.
Since we have only one, you don't even have to worry about the names because it's not the same name. So just do a describe certificate request. Okay,
pending.
so
Pending.
Now you can look at the order.
Yeah, so now you can actually look at the, is it just order, certificate order, is it?
So yeah, you can just look at describe order, yeah. It's just called order. And finally, you can look at challenge.
Now, it's funny that they went from naming everything as certificate to suddenly...
now we found it. We got the no such host card.
Okay, so what you want to do, JJ, now is check that DNS is set up in DNS Simple. Make sure external DNS has done its job.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that looks like it. So I would say it just now is waiting on that. We didn't set a TTL, JJ.
No, we didn't, did we? fine. I got some others.
Yeah.
Or we can just change the name again, I guess.
So why don't you do a host on that URL, on that host name, and see if it's resolving. Okay, so it's working for you. Do a curl on it. Just see if you get a...
Yep.
Okay, that looks
Oh,
good.
wait. No, hold on. The host.
Oh, cannot be found. Oh. So whose response is that?
It most likely is... Wait, what is... Try going to that in a browser.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be that robot thing. It's...
Because your Ingress usually gives a pretty simple response.
Yeah, that's a...
There it is.
Yeah. Is that DNS simple?
No, that's on IBM Cloud.
IBM thing.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. So now check your, well, not the order. What was the last part of the certificate chain? The challenge.
Challenge?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where's the last result?
Present.
Yeah, so it's now getting a 404. So that means that the Ingress rule isn't working at the application load balancer ALB. So does it take time for the ALB to configure itself?
When I did the webhook one, it took about all of 30 seconds for the entire thing to work.
Yeah, okay.
So I didn't even try HTTP once.
Hey, Mofi, we got a question for you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Where I'm from right now, well, I've been living in New York for about 9-10 years. I was originally born in Bangladesh. Then I moved here when I was just getting to high school. So that's pretty much it. And anything. Oh, someone mentioned Helm should just fail if you don't use namespace. Cert-Manager releases Cert-Manager, to be honest. Okay.
So I guess test 2.
So we're changing that TTL thing, right?
Oh yeah, we should probably just do that straight up, shouldn't
Yeah, while you're thinking about it.
we? Where was it? Where did I put it?
So what is the TTL thing usually do? Like, why is it set usually to 1 hour? I have seen most places actually set to 1 hour.
Yeah, because, I mean, in the olden days, you used to set it to like a day.
Okay.
DNS infrastructure got better and people change things more frequently. So they've slowly made it like lower and lower.
So when we say...
Go ahead.
It's a 1 hour. We're basically saying we are allowing up to 1 hour for it to propagate everywhere?
No, we're saying, like, when I ask you for your name, you say, my name is Mofi for the next 1 hour. And so from now until that hour is up, I'm cool to just be like, he's Mofi. But when an hour is up, I no longer trust that that's your name. So I will ask you again what your name is.
Okay, I see. So it's basically how quickly we can keep changing it when other people will like pick up the changes. Okay.
Yeah. And that's mostly used actually not at like me running on my laptop, but like my DNS server fetching it. So it's how long DNS servers maintain records for.
Got it. So basically having a longer time to live is better for the DNS server. That means they have to do less work.
Exactly.
Worse for us because we want the changes to propagate faster.
Exactly.
Got it.
But we're at the point now where tons of like, I think it's getting to the point where like 10 minutes is pretty frequent. Even faster is pretty frequent.
I have seen places where like it's 60 seconds.
Yeah.
You should check out howdns.works. You want
Excellent.
to get into the deeper story of it all.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
drop that in the chat, and that's, I think, or just to me if you could.
I'll put it in the chat. It's fine.
On the chat,
It's worth
everybody gets to learn this. Yes.
It's true.
All right. So
I just had it open.
where are we
the hell
at?
did
What
it
are we
go?
trying to figure out?
How to
So
set the TTL. Where the hell did I put it?
If you go to external DNS, you're looking for their what are the words? Annotations for setting, because you do it all via the annotations. I would just search for annotations.
Do you think I could spell annotations?
I believe in you.
There you go. There's your TTL.
This one?
Yeah. So grab just the stuff in quotes. Yeah. Copy that and then go back to your values file. Where your annotations are on the ingress. Add it under Cert-Manager. And you'll change the equals into a colon. Space.
And you have us.
And quote it. I think I can't remember, but I think annotations are
All
usually
strings.
expected to be strings. Yeah.
So that it?
Yep. So save that.
That seems too easy.
That's the whole point of this thing, man. It's supposed to be easy.
Delete everything?
No, upgrade. Great.
So
Now
we
let's
could-
see if anything's moved as far as see if you can curl that URL. Or actually, you probably want to go to the internet website since.
Nope, still the same thing.
Same. So now we've still got a problem with the ingress not working.
But don't we want to see that the update for DN Simple is first?
I mean,
Just
yeah,
make sure that-
I'm less concerned with that than about the ingress
Okay.
not working, right?
Okay.
Because we're not changing DNS right now. We're trying to access a website.
Good point.
So what I would do is have a look at your ingress controller logs. So I think it was under the.
So if you do k get pods -n cube system, and all our ingress controller ones are named this ALB1. We have two of them. Well, one of them is still pending. Okay, we have two of them. So that's the second one. You can look at that one.
Wait, why are there two of them?
So we have two ingress pod running, and they have a deployment and a service.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I only have one running.
We have one running, yes.
Do a kget surface, because there should be a service attached to those, right?
Yeah. Service -n cube system. System, SYS. There you go.
Okay.
That is the last one. Public, get it LB1, load balancer.
And that host name was resolving to that IP address?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just double check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why don't you do first of all, do a describe on the one that says pending. It should tell you why it's pending.
So the Nginx pods have so that they show up in different nodes, and we have only one node.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's fine.
That makes sense. Yep. So now run. Do you get pods again? Just so we can see the names. You do it from history, so you don't have to type out the namespace.
Oh, the ingress one. This one.
Yeah.
And then do a kget logs on the one that's running.
It's k logs.
Oh, do the Stern thing or no?
You can just go in if you want. And then oh, that's not so bad. Is that it?
No,
No,
you
no,
just
keep going. There we go. Looks like it's happy. Oh wait, hold on. No firewall directory to the Acme challenge.
Where
It's
Where are you
making the Acme
seeing?
challenge right here, the second one from the top, bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Well-known Acme. It's so it's now started. JJ, you want to highlight that one?
Yep.
Well, why don't you continue to tail the logs? So run that again, but do tail-0. Was it tail-0?
That was F0. No. Tail.
Oh, we can just see now.
Dash tail. Shit. There we go.
Okay, and now in another, like in your web browser, try and access it.
Is it the same thing like last time where there's a redirect?
All
The
right.
redirect happened.
So now close your logs.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and now we have to find where your request hit and what went wrong. So we're not looking for the well-known one.
Index.
Well-known one. Index,
Right there.
yeah.
So upstream address is empty. Should it be empty?
Oh wait, no, hold on. Here we go. Nginx default icon. No such file. No.
Yeah, that's pretty common. So let me think about this. We should make sure that the actual Nginx service is responding. So do a kget pods in your proper namespace. So you're already in the Cert-Manager namespace, and do a kget service. So we should have, so cert-me is the name of your Nginx.
Mm-hmm.
So do a kubectl port forward, cert-me 86, blah, blah, blah. And then 8080 to 80. Yeah, and now check your browser for localhost 8080.
Yep.
Okay, so that's good. And then the service is type, where are we? Service is type of cluster IP, but the Ingress is running inside of, so that's fine. Hey, where's the actual Ingress controller running? Because what we were just looking at was the Ingress, like the pod's actually serving up Ingress. Does it have a separate Ingress controller, or is it all in one?
No, I don't think that's just the one. It has 4 containers.
Oh
within
yeah,
one.
it has 4 containers in the pod, so it must be all in there.
It's everything in bundle, but we can see what other containers there in there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how we find logs to see that the ALB has been set up to actually serve for that URL.
Well,
let's do a kget ingress of the CM Acme ingress. CM-Acme. Oh, sorry, cert dash me.
Do you have autocomplete here?
No.
Then just kget ingress first so that you can see what it is.
I mean, it's cert me. I was just telling you, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. I thought we wanted to see that.
Yeah. And then do a -o YAML on it. And let's make sure the services and everything look right. So your rule, HTTP goes to backend server cert.me on port 80. And then TLS is also there. So that there's no reason this shouldn't be working. Right? This is a super stock standard ingress.
Did this actual thing TTL actually work on the external DNS side? DNS simple.
I mean, we haven't changed the DNS, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, I'd rather figure out why this isn't working than chase that. So the path is right. So, like, I can't see anything wrong with this. Maybe just to be sure, let's pull out the TLS pieces and make sure that's not confusing anything. So go to your, here and just comment out the TLS section. And then also comment out the Cert-Manager annotation, just the top one. Yeah. Save that, do a helm upgrade. And then do a get ingress. Right, so now this is super simple. Oh, remember? I wonder if
need to nuke it again.
It's mad about having the two ingresses with the same host name. See, the Acme solver has the same host name.
Isn't that a different path in it though?
It is, but some ingress controllers deal with that better than others. Like, for instance, if you're using the Google Cloud Ingress Controller, you can't have the same host name.
So I think in the Cert-Manager, right, you can actually set a flag that puts it in the same ingress controller.
You can, yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, we just didn't go through the documentation, like dig it.
But I had assumed this would work because I thought that we were based off of Nginx.
Yeah,
but maybe
we're definitely based on Nginx.
But isn't there also an actual ALB, like a physical ALB load balancer somewhere?
Yes, that is the one connected to the cluster itself that gives us this load balancer IP.
Right. So I'm wondering if we're sending the rules up to it and it doesn't. So let's find the Cert-Manager logs on how to put the HTTP solver inside of the ingress and try setting that.
So we need to look for the Cert-Manager.
Cert-Manager, yeah.
Configuration.
It'll probably be under installation, right? Kubernetes.
Issuer? No.
Oh yeah, hang on. Where would we be setting it? I'm not even sure. Maybe it's under. Where's it talk about doing ingress? Maybe it is under configuration or usage. No, it won't be. HTTP maybe. But I think we're looking for some ingress specific stuff. Securing ingress resources. Okay, let's look at the supported annotations. There we HTTP added in place, the next one down.
Yeah.
So let's set that. But leave it, yeah, and uncomment the one above, but don't actually apply it yet. I want to have a look at a few other things. All right, go back to the doc. And then I would also do that Cert-Manager issue temporary certificate true. It's at the bottom. You've gone too far.
Okay, thank you. I was just informed about my cat, I think. Not 100% sure. Wonder why that one's in quotes.
Documentation is hard. All right. Ingress class. Customer is this useful when you're trying to secure internal services and it's self-challenging different Ingress class that of Ingress. I think we can ignore that. All right, so let's flip back to your command prompt and do a kubectl get ingress again. So it should have cleared up that Acme solver. So do a kubectl get certificate. Yeah, let's delete that certificate. You really need to sit down and get your auto completion and everything set up, JJ.
Yeah, I know.
They have directly script built in for that to work. Why? Just source that when you're starting your terminal and you're done.
I started to, and then I got distracted, and then I've been living in Jenkins world the last couple of days.
And yeah, oh my Z shell, if you're using that, that would be great. You should definitely.
I got halfway through him doing it, and then he chickened out for some reason. All right, so now do a K get ingress again. Okay, so now we only have one ingress listening on port 80. So let's do a, let's open that up in your browser.
This is new.
Yeah, okay, so this is probably fine. This is, I think, nope. So, so this is the ALB response, like giving this out 404, right? Or is it the pod in Kubernetes, or is it the physical ALB?
This is the ALB. This is not something that we control. This is coming from IBM Cloud.
Right. So that's telling me that our rule is not being propagated to, but we haven't asked for HTTPS. That's part of the problem, is we never asked for HTTPS. So can you curl that and see what you get? Because curl won't by default follow.
Okay. So here's the thing: your browser is caching something. I went to the URL. I got regular stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So JJ, I think JJ's browser is probably automatically adding that HTTPS to it. So you might need to. I always open a new private window when I'm testing stuff like this, so it makes it much easier to just delete that and open a new one and not get hit by cache. But the problem is, I think private windows keep the cache from your non-private. So you might still hit.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. So now we can go back and re-enable the annotations.
Okay.
Well, reapply, it does enable.
Yeah, so I think they all still... Oh, you want to uncomment the TLS section back out?
Okay.
And then do a...
Pro tip
That's all
there, you can open developer tools and disable cache there. So for the
Right there.
time being.
Right. Under hosts.
I don't know, what was it? What was it already? Can you
I think
just
it
like,
was.
can you just undo a bunch? And see-
Test
and double check?
K1S Asgard Labs.
Yeah, I guess it's under host. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, save that off. So there's another instance where you've got the tab directly underneath the key. So maybe tab that whole section across. No, not the TLS, the stuff below it. Yeah.
Yep.
Just to keep it consistent.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
And then do a k get ingress. And then do a k get ingress -o YAML. And so see how it's added the path, the extra path in there. And so I super don't like this, but if this is the way we have to do it, this is the way we have to do it. Using Mofi's DNS resolver would help clean up having to have this garbage in here.
Got it.
One step at a time. So now do a get certificate, kubectl get certificate.
False.
Still not
No.
ready. So just do a k get challenge. Go straight to the challenge.
Yeah, so we can do describe to know what's going on.
Yeah. Challengers.
No, hold on. I think it's done then. If it
okay.
got K got certificate.
Yay!
Yeah. Cool. Again, we were just impatient.
Well, you gotta hold. Let me do it because your
Okay.
DNS is probably like just like. Yes, it is working.
So just add HTTPS at the start of that, JJ.
Yeah, certificate is valid. Is by Let's Encrypt.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So now go back to your values.yaml. Right? And then set nginx to false. And then save that off. And then do a helm upgrade.
Wait, what is that supposed to do?
Well, that just gets...
remove everything.
No, it'll just should remove just nginx. Because basically, if you were actually deploying this to use as like infrastructure of your cluster, you wouldn't want that nginx in there. So I just want to just do a kubectl get pods. Yeah. So this is, I guess, your like, I wouldn't say production view of it, but this is more like what you would do if you were deploying this for reals in production, right?
The application. Nginx was the application. I kept thinking Nginx the ingress.
Yeah, no, Nginx was the application.
I'm like, why are you getting rid of Nginx?
Yeah, no, it was just the application to double check that things were working. So now what we want to do, JJ, is go to your values.yaml. and find the annotations for the ingress. In fact, just take that whole ingress section, copy and paste that all the way down to the end of the TLS. Yeah. And then don't cut it. Just copy it. And then what we'll want to do is add that into notes.txt. Okay, so if Nginx is enabled, blah, blah, blah. So after that, after all of that whole block, I would then, first of all, paste that in, put it around triple, what do you call it? Quote docs, backticks. Yeah. And even I would put YAML there. And that way, if anyone ever just copies and pastes this into a markdown, it will look right. So basically what we're telling people here is how to secure their ingress, right? And so above the backticks, you'll put like, congratulations, you have deployed Cert-Manager and external DNS. Add these annotations to an ingress that you wish to secure. Yeah, and then obviously we're not assuming that they're using a Helm chart, so kill the ingress enabled equals true lines. The one above it too, yeah. And so pull these ones down to, yeah. And then close that. So backticks. And then, oh, actually what we should have done is copy and paste this from the ingress itself. And that way we've got the actual physical YAML. Yeah, let's do that. So save this as is.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine. It's just a thing. So re-enable Nginx. So do a helm upgrade. Rerun the helm upgrade command. But just do space -- set open quotes nginx.enabled equals true. Yeah,
okay.
And hit enter. Yeah.
Oops.
Wah, wah, wah. That's just because you hadn't saved it. Try again.
There you go.
Try again. Yay!
It's failing slower. That's what's happening.
All right. So those aren't quite right, but if you do a kget ingress YAML, yeah. Oh boy. What?
That's not good.
Do a kget all. Have a look at that. What was that helm upgrade command again? Did we do something wrong there? Enabled. There's a D in there. Right. Always remember you're declarative. So you're not telling it to enable. You're saying it should be enabled.
Yep.
Yeah. Should be up by now.
There you
Ah.
So now you want to take basically the rules section. So take from spec down to the end of the secret name.
Spec to secret name. This.
Yep. And then paste that into your notes.txt as a, leave your basic as a second code block. So you're saying you want these annotations, and then you'll want your spec to look like this. I would do it in a separate code block.
Okay.
Right. And then these rules. Yeah.
From spec or just rules?
The whole spec, why not?
You know, I would actually maybe grab the whole thing. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Wait,
Let's
are
grab
we
the whole.
supposed to see? No,
Let's
we're not
grab the
seeing
whole
other,
thing.
I'm not seeing the challenge in here.
Yeah, that's because it's probably already done.
Oh.
You can do a KGET certificate and see if it's true.
Yeah, don't worry about that just yet. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Just let's just finish what we're doing. So grab everything above status. You got kind list. It's all. I hate the way it does everything out of order. Because metadata is down below. Gross. All right, just leave what we had. People can figure it out.
If they can probably join us again Thursday, because we'll be stuck
Right.
with this again, like in 2 weeks. So,
and then obviously, the host name is wrong. So maybe do like open, like less than host name greater than, and then yeah.
I mean, isn't the whole thing the host name?
No, JJ's right. The host name
Is it?
should be just
So what is a zone then?
So the zone is the rest of it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Because that's...
And then if you want to talk about the whole thing, that's when you talk about the FQDN.
And a host name, JJ.
Yeah, I got it. Hang on.
Excellent.
There's actually a huge fight amongst the Linux distros over what is the host name and what is not. Some Linux distros give the FQDN, some don't. And I think some versions of some distros give one versus the other. So when you're using tools like Ansible and wanting to introspect what the server is, you can get different results from OS to OS.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need, really, like more diversity in terms of answers.
Right. Okay, so I think you've done pretty well here. We've got everything working. Now let's have a look at your values file and see what is hard-coded in there that maybe shouldn't be.
Well, the host names, that should probably not be.
Yeah. No, leave the secret name.
Secret name will be generated for you, so it's fine. Maybe you can call it Let's Encrypt prod TLS.
Well, because it's a secret that's specific for the in this case just the Nginx.
Right.
So JJ, just leave it what it was, please.
That's consistent. That's without the TK1S is the name of our server.
So we'll we don't need to I would just call it test Nginx TLS, right? You don't want them to have to change it.
Okay.
Because again, that's only used for the test Nginx if it's deployed, right? So go right up to the top.
We want to put this to true, right?
Yeah, we should set that to true. And then that email should be... Now, whatever you're setting here, I would then, remember how we did that trick in notes where we looked for a default value and complained? We'll want to do a similar thing there.
Okay.
And then DNS simple, I will change that to be something. Yeah. And then maybe set domain filters to be example.com. All right. And I think we're okay to leave DNS simple as like the example provider. But like, if you were to actually release this, you'd be wanting to document, like, look at external DNS for valid answers here, right? And same with extra env, because those things will change based on. Like, think about if you don't look at this for 6 months and you come back to it, what are the things in here that are going to trip you up?
Yep. And I'm hoping to release this. I'm going to go through all of it, and maybe next Thursday we can just do one sanity check and deploy it and release it.
Now, I have a question. Does IBM Cloud have a DNS service?
Software.
Yes.
Right. And so is there a external DNS driver for that?
I don't think so, but they have someone wrote a webhook for the Cert-Manager, not for external DNS. Right. That's another question though, right? Like for Cert-Manager, I think the project, whoever maintains it did a really great job in terms of supporting whoever they can support, and whoever they can support, let people write their own webhook. I don't really see the same thing from external DNS. And that is something I'm probably going to open an issue on it. Like if it is possible for people to, if it's not available already, people can write it because.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's like where I'm getting at is if all of this is on IBM Cloud, then you're going to have a lot less integration and touch points, right? Because you can say, like, all you need is your IBM Cloud API key here and a host name here. The rest of it, you all should be able to provide.
Right.
There should be no inconsistencies beyond that. All the inconsistencies creep up when we have to support all these different providers. So if there is a webhook for the external DNS, so for Cert-Manager,
there is.
We should include that versus the one we were going to include of yours, and then figure out what it would take to add external DNS support for IBM Cloud.
Yeah.
Because if you could release this as, boom, like install this one thing, and you would even get to the point where does IBM Cloud support like pod level IAM? Like I know in like Amazon, I can actually give IAM roles to pods. And so I could actually tell Amazon to allow a certain pod to have access to modified DNS and via Route 53. And I wouldn't even need to put any form of credentials in whatsoever.
Got it. I don't think like that is available, but
yeah,
I can ask around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But ideally, like, even if you have to have an API key, if you can get to the point where all you need to do is provide a host name or a domain filter, I should say, and a API key, that would be like amazing.
Right.
Not quite there yet, though.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting here talking to two IBM Cloud developer advocates, both of whom should be quite capable of making this happen.
I got to figure out our
like
DNS provider first.
as long as you have an API, you can make it work, right? You know, if it's officially supported or not, you can figure that out later. But you know, as you all know, it's pretty easy to write a Helm chart. JJ, you've even got your charts hooked up to be a chart repository automatically. You know, this to me sounds like a super valuable thing y'all could do for IBM Cloud.
Absolutely.
right? Not just provide, here's a thing that will work with DNS simple or with a bunch of modification with something else, but like, here is something that will work for IBM Cloud.
Mhm.
You could probably upstream it into because you've got the IBM Cloud's chart repo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's a little politics around that, but yes, I see where
Sure.
you're going with this. Yeah. But yeah, no, it seems like something very reasonable. So I guess hopefully by well, like I said, I got to figure the DNS system out. I still haven't done that.
Yeah.
But
but I feel like the two of you could bang your heads together for a couple of weeks and
Mhm.
come out the other end with at least this in a like prototype works on JJ's laptop
Mhm.
area.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I was looking through the code in external DNS, right? Like the code itself is pretty well organized. It doesn't look like they have any goal to make it so that even if they don't have a provider, anyone else can write it. But again, you can open an issue and like if we make the pull request, it'll get merged. So so that's.
I mean, it looks like other people have contributed their own DNS providers.
Yeah, and they also are looking for maintainers for a bunch of them anyway. So the SIG is pretty open, and we have a bunch of people in the Kubernetes SIG anyway, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
And there are actually I'm sure there are some RFCs around doing API-based DNS management. So it's possible that's even been implemented, and you just need to check if the IBM supports that RFC. Yeah, here it is, RFC 2136. Let's see what that is. So I'm sure I remember, RFC 2136, dynamic updates in the domain name system. So there is, it looks like there are ways to do it at like an open RFC level. So if both ends support that, you might even do it that way.
Nice. Well, Mofi, sounds like we got a project in the future.
Hey, something to do, right? No, I think a couple of like actionable items for us would be, first of all, chase down to figure out who owns that particular side of things in terms of like software. Well, not software anymore, classic infra, whatever we call it now. And as you said, it's a lot of finding people that can, rather than actually finding solutions, it's finding people first.
Yeah.
That's IBM in a nutshell.
What even comes up when you do IBM Cloud Managed DNS?
Does it? I don't know.
IBM Cloud Domain Name Services offers full service domain registration administration, featuring a simple interface and account activity tracking.
Domain name service. There you go.
I thought we only have like very specific.
We have, we have like 6 or 7 different domain types.
So we got a domain service, and
I have one domain in my one I was playing with. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I found it.
Domains API.
It's this guy. Domain registration. We have com, net, org, US, info, and biz.
Well, so we're not really looking for domain registration. We're looking for like domain hosting. Like we don't care if you can register it. We want you to host it, right?
So it's part of, if you go to classic infra, instead of going there, directly go to classic infra.
Wait, hold on. There's one other thing I want to look at real quick. There's
and
external DNS right here.
I think that's just the Helm chart.
That's a Helm chart. So look at the link I just sent in chat.
Oh, hang on. Oh God, it's the SL command, isn't it?
Well, it says it's an API, so
yeah,
I hope it's not it. right?
Yeah.
Create domains. So to edit domains, like I think this has everything you need.
Yeah, Softlayer has the Go library too. So it's
Yeah.
and the webhook that I saw on Softlayer was also built on top of that anyway. So
Yeah. So
I'm not super worried about writing that part. I'm more worried about finding the people that can kind of like okay this, that us chasing down
you don't
external
need to
users.
ask permission. It's an API. Just do it. Do it. Show it, and then say, do you want to make this something you could have in your product? But like that's the whole joy of being DevRel, right? Is we do things, and we're in the ask for forgiveness versus the ask for permission.
Yeah, it could be, and it would be a brand new feature that everything would be sit inside of IBM Cloud. That would be very valuable to a lot of people. A lot of OMs would really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Mofi, sounds like we got homework.
Yes. So someone asked, isn't it Cloudflare under the hood? That is actually true. All our actual ingresses are served from Cloudflare. So I think that's why there's not enough like itch on people to like get this to work from the OM side.
But that's one beautiful thing that we can, right? If we come along and it turns out it isn't really that hard to CZ's point here, we could, build that feature and then be like, just drop it in and we don't have to worry about it.
The moment you ask an OM for it, you've added 6 months to how long it'll take to do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's anywhere. That's not just IBM.
Right.
Anywhere. So like you just do it, you demo it, you show it off, and then when someone asks outside that wants it, suddenly it becomes something that they'll want.
Exactly. It's a better UX, right? It's a better user experience of everything. So, and it's better for IBM. Anyway, yes, you're absolutely right. Yep. Awesome. Well, cool. I think that's a pretty good place to end.
I mean, it is beer o'clock, so I'm happy to
it is.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. And hopefully by next week, everything will be a little bit cleaner, because I won't do that on stream. I'll do it off stream just to get everything better, and we can even deploy it to start talking about getting out to a real repo now. Cool. Sound good?
Don't forget to wipe your API key for DNS Simple.
Already done.
Perfect.
Already done. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. And
hey, let's actually have a quick look. Did that TTL update?
Oh, good call.
Yeah, that was the last thing we wanted to say, right?
Now we got the ingress working. We can roll back to that.
All right. No spoilers. Where the hell did Zoom go? Oh, come on, Zoom. And it did.
Right.
Wait, we made it 10 seconds? Nice.
Yeah.
We're going to drive up their cost of updating
Classic
stuff.
JJ.
It's true.
At least, I think as default, 60 seconds is a normal number, I would say.
Well, JJ, I would just delete that Helm chart so it goes away.
Yeah, no, I'm going to.
And also, if nothing's requesting it, then nothing is going to be updating.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Right.
Cool.
So it's probably not that bad.
Cool. All right. Cool. Well, say bye, guys.
Bye, guys.